Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Recha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Exodus, the 15th chapter. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord Yahweh, and spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord Yahweh, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. So this was a song that they sung, praising the Lord and rejoicing in how he had delivered them from the hand of the Egyptians. So the horse and his rider is referring to the Egyptians. And the Lord is my strength and song, and he is become my salvation. He is my God. And the song meaning he is in him will I sing, right? I'll sing about him and the mighty acts he has done. And he has become my salvation, because he literally was the salvation of Israel in delivering them from the hand of the Egyptians. And I will prepare him an habitation, my father's God, and I will exalt him. And what they mean by that is when it says prepare him an habitation is another way of saying they would praise the Lord. And my father's God, when you go into that, they're because he was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is their forefathers. And I will exalt him. The Lord Yahweh is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his hosts hath he cast into the sea. His chosen captains are also drowned in the Red Sea. The depths have covered them. They sank into the bottom as a stone. Thy right, because when you drop a stone in water, it's going straight down. That stone is not coming back up. Unless somebody goes in there and brings it up, it's not coming up. Thy right hand, O Yahweh, is become glorious in power. Thy right hand, O Yahweh, hath dashed in pieces the enemy. And, in the literal sense, right, it's referring to the power and the might of the Lord. But we know figuratively, the right hand of the Lord is also Yahushai, right? With which or with whom he was leading Israel out of Egypt. Verse 7, and in the greatness of thine excellency thou hast overthrown them that rose up against thee. Thou sentest forth thy wrath, which consumed them as stubble. So they were basically, when they came against the people of the Lord, his anger being kindled against them consumed them like stubble, which is like a husk. And with the blast of thy nostrils the waters were gathered together. This is referring to the wind that the Lord sent in order to part that the Red Sea. The floods stood upright as an heap, and the depths were congealed in the heart of the sea. And congealed here meaning that it became thick, right? So that's how the water was parted, when that wind basically blew and separated it. On the right hand, it became a wall. On the left, it became a wall. And that's because it thickened, you know. Verse 9, the enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil. My lust shall be satisfied upon them. And which is basically what the intent of the Egyptians were against Israel, right? That they were going to chase them. They were going to go in after them. And their lust, meaning their desire to take them back, to conquer them again, they would they would fulfill that in going after them, because the Egyptians had horses, chariots, weapons. I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them. Thou didst blow with thy wind, the sea covered them. They sank as lead in the mighty waters. And this is referring to basically what we read in Exodus 14, right? And how the Lord had the water that was now parted close in on these Egyptians. And lead is like a heavy metal. And once again, like a stone, it sinks all the way to the bottom. Who is like unto thee, O Yahweh, among the gods? Or in other words, what God is there like you? There's no other God like you. Who is like thee, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, and fearful meaning revered, okay, or honored in praises, doing wonders. Thou stretchest out thy right hand, the earth swallowed them. Thou in thy mercy, and that's once again that water that drowned them. Thou in thy mercy hast led forth the people which thou hast redeemed, which is Israel. Thou hast guided them in thy strength unto thy holy habitation, which is the leading them to the promised land. The people shall hear and be afraid, which is the nations. Prime example, when you go to the book of Joshua, the inhabitants in which they went to take over, they were afraid. In fact, even the Moabites were afraid, so much so that they went in which is in the book of Numbers, but yeah, they went to try and hire what's this guy's name, Balaam, to curse Israel. It says here, the people shall hear and be afraid. Sorrow shall take hold on the inhabitants of Palestina, which is another name for that land of Canaan that they were now headed towards. And remember, this is why or how the Lord said he would gain honor upon Pharaoh, because when word of this got out, it would put fear, the fear of the Lord, the reverence of the Lord among all people that heard it. Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed, and this word doesn't mean amazed with joy, but with terror. The mighty men of Moab, trembling, shall take hold upon them, or the mighty men of Moab, trembling shall take hold upon them. All the inhabitants of Canaan shall melt away. So this was Israel rejoicing, right? Confident and happy, right, at what the Lord had just done, and basically saying how the nations are trembling in their boots at the sound or of even knowing that Israel is on their way there. Fear and dread shall fall upon them. By the greatness of thine arm, they shall be as still as a stone, till thy people pass over. So in Israel, traveling through, these nations would be so afraid, they're going to be basically motionless, as still as a stone, allowing Israel to pass over. This is the confidence and the joy is in the song that they sung, rejoicing in the Lord for his deliverance. And it's kind of like saying, who's going to be able to stop us? Look at what the Lord just did to the Egyptians. Can nobody stand in our way? O Yahweh, till the people pass over which thou hast purchased. And who are the people whom the Lord purchased? Israel. Thou shalt bring them in and plant them in the mountain of thine inheritance. In the place, O Yahweh, which thou hast made for thee to dwell in, which Moses also mentioned, right? The place which the Lord will choose to put his name, which is the land of Israel, and specifically in there, Jerusalem, which thou hast made for thee to dwell in the sanctuary, O Lord, which thy hands have established. The Lord shall reign forever and ever, for the horse of Pharaoh went in with his chariots. So the sanctuary here is the place where the Lord had chosen, as it says, which thy hands have established. Hence, he made the promise to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob to say, this is the land, right, that is going to be for your descendants. I have prepared it as such. And so in process of time, I'm going to bring them, and they're going to basically drive out the Canaanites, and they're going to have this land to be theirs. And this is where I'm going to put my presence. The Lord shall reign forever and ever, for the horse of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea. And the Lord brought again the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea. And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, and when you go into the word prophetess here, in reference to Miriam, is referring to one that is endowed with the spirit of, as it here, the gift of song. Okay, and these would basically be songs with spiritual, sometimes even prophetic lyrics. But that's what it's referring to here, right? As the prophetess. And also in another sense, Aaron was a prophet, right? The Lord mentioned that he would make him a prophet to Moses, hence also the sister of a prophet being Miriam. and I believe she was their older sister. So it says, and Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. Because remember, this was a song, and she was leading it. And Miriam answered the people, and Miriam answered them. So this is those kinds of songs, right, where you sing, and then the crowd replies, and then you go back and forth like that. So sing ye to the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. And when they came to Marah, they could not drink of the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. And the word bitter here, not necessarily in the sense of like when you what's a bitter thing to eat? Wormwood, right? Or like some bitter herb. It's more so like it wasn't safe to drink. Therefore, the name of it was called Marah, and the word Marah goes into that, bitter. Let's click it. Marah, bitter. Okay. Verse 24, and the people murmured against Moses, saying, what shall we drink? And he cried unto the Lord Yahweh, and the Lord shewed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet, so they were made safe to drink again. There he made for them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them. So that statute or that commandment or that law to follow, right, by which he would prove or try Israel, this is what it was, verse 26. And he said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Lord Yahweh thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and to keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians. For I am the Lord Yahweh that healeth thee. And they came to Elim, where were 12 wells of water, and 70 palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters. And I pulled up a map here, which majority of these maps, when you look at it, it's really like estimations. So they're not all going to look the same, but they give you a rough sort of idea of the pathways in which they would have taken. So here, when you look at the key, I think that's what it is. But you have here the journey of the Israelites. So as they crossed that body of water, they came down, and here you have the region of Marah, right, give or take roughly, and then afterwards they traveled towards Elim. And that brings us to the end of the book of Exodus, the 15th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Until next time, Shalom.